doesn't work. Okay. So, who can tell me what we did with our Me on the Maps yesterday? Thank you for raising your hand. Solange, what did we do with Me on the Maps? Okay. First we did this is me, and then we did this is my, what's a little bit bigger than me? Where do we live? Raise your hand if you would like to help out Solange. Edwin? Our country is a little bit later. Look at your Me on the Map. Esme? This is my town. Which town do we live in? You guys can call it out. Steamboat Springs. Then after that, a little bit bigger. You guys can flip as I go. Steamboat Springs is in a state. When I say blurt it out, you can blurt it out. Which state do we live in? Colorado. And then flip it a little bit bigger. Sorry, Nika. This is my country. Which country do we live in? The States of America. All right. And then the United States of America is in a continent, and our continent is, Cooper? North America. And then North America is in our world, which is Earth. All right, flip it back to the beginning, please. All right, actually flip it to, this is my town, and keep it in front of you.
It's okay if I don't flip it because I can see my woods.
All right, I like how Ryan, take a look at Ryan. He's flipped it to my town, and he's looking at my town. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Well, actually, before. You're going to blurt this answer in your hand. And then whisper it to a partner, and then we will say it all as a class. What is the name of our town? Whisper it to somebody sitting next to you. 3, 2, 1.
Steamboat Springs!
We live in Steamboat Springs. Do you think Steamboat Springs is exactly the same as Denver? Raise your hand if you think it's exactly the same as Denver. Raise your hand if you think there's some things that are the same, but there's some things that are a little bit different.
Way different.
All right. So we are going to explore what's maybe similar and different about Steamboat Springs. So first we're going to look at, Henry, put your hand down, please. Thank you. All right. So everybody take a look at this. And what is this a map of? What is this a map of? Kinsley?
Steamboat.
Oh,
Colorado.
Well, it's in Colorado, but specifically it's of a town.
Go all the way in.
Steamboat Springs. This is a map of our town. And the reason why it looks a little different than usual is because this is called a topographic map. And a topographic map shows you, like if there's mountains, it will show you where the mountains are. And if there's like a big valley, it will show you where the valley is. So, I'm going to zoom out, and you're going to look at Steamboat Springs. So, you can kind of tell where the mountains are. Because if I zoom out, the dark green areas are where the mountains are. And the light green area, the light brown areas are where maybe it's a little bit more flat. Yes, Dylan, thank you for raising your hand.
I want this one to
Okay.
See how there's like these little lines? There's lines like in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And that the lines that are close together, those are mountains. And it looks like mountains too. Because they are. Yeah, it looks like it's going up a little.
Yep. Usually some topographic maps have those lines. This one doesn't really have those lines here. It has some lines, but those are highways. All right, so look how different that is than this.
Whoa.
This just looks like everything is flat. But when you do, this is like an image. It's like a bird's eye view. If there was a bird on top looking over Steamboat, this is what they would see. So let's look at Steamboat, and you're going to turn and talk to your partner. And you're going to talk about what you notice about this map. It can be anything that you notice about this map. So, wait. Oh, I didn't ask you to go yet. What do you do when you turn and talk to your partner? Brian, thank you for raising your hand. You turn knee to knee and look at them in the eyes and start talking. We're going to practice using complete sentences because that is our target this week. So you're going to say, I noticed that, and then you're going to use that to say what you noticed. All right, you may turn and talk to your partner. So you three can be together. Kinsley, what do you notice? There's what? There's lines.
I noticed there's
Okay. Do you see something, Emmett?
Yeah. Lines, I think. Yep.
You see lines too?
Yeah.
What are some things that we notice? Cooper.
I noticed that, right here it kind of looks like a face, like the mouth is opening, kind of.
All right, it looks like a face. Ryan, what do you notice?
I noticed if you zoom in that you can see the houses.
So if you zoom in and get closer, you can see the houses. Let's see.
I clicked on a check mark, so you can see all the buildings.
So you can see the buildings.
I clicked on that check mark.
If we, Dylan, can you give that to me, please? Thank you. Can you sit down and show whole body listening? All right, now, what is one more thing that we notice about this map? What do we notice? Solange, what do you notice? I
noticed that the other map looks like clear, and then in this one, it looks like, just like the birds have like clear eyes to see like
the details.
Yeah.
You see all the details, whereas before it was just the same color.
Yeah, but on the other map, it's just like what humans see when they're that high. It looks like a drawing.
So we're going to make. Let's look at this. We're going to make a prediction because now I'm going to change the map to Denver. So this is a prediction. Who can remind me what a prediction is?
Where did you put?
When you say I predict, what does that mean when you say I predict? All right, I asked the question, so I'm expecting you to think of the answer in your head. What does it mean when I ask you to make a prediction? Would you like to go to your seat and work on your Me on the Map while we're doing this? Okay, then you can come join us and sit down. Shahid, what does it mean to make a prediction?
It's like you're guessing what's going to happen.
You're guessing, or you're trying to make a smart guess about what's going to happen. So, we are going to make a prediction about what the Denver map is going to look like. We just saw what the Steamboat Springs map looks like. So how do you think the Denver map is going to be different? How do you think that the Denver map is going to be different? You're going to say, I predict that it will be different because... So turn and talk to your partner. How do you think it will be different?
I predict that the Denver highway is not like look different.
I think it will be different.
I predict that it's different because it's like it's like that's different. It's gonna be a little different. It's kind of different about I think like there's a museum there like in Denver, so I think like there's gonna be stuff like sticking up kind of. Both of them are I think it's
More houses in Left Mountain. Oh, more houses in Left Mountain. All right, we're going to share a few predictions, and then I'm going to switch the map to Denver. All right, who would like to predict How do you think Denver is going to be different? And I'm going to pick on somebody who's sitting with whole body listening, with your hands to yourself. Henry,
I predict it's gonna be different because I think Denver is gonna have more houses and less mountains since Denver is more like a city. Actually, there is lots and lots of.
All right, we're going to work on not calling out. I see that a lot of people are agreeing with you, Henry. So we're going to share it. We're going to see how Denver is different.
I already know how Denver is different. This I know. See?
Ooh, so we zoomed up here. And we're going to zoom out. Oh, do you see all the green over here? The dark green, remember before, shows that there's mountains. And Denver is right here. It says Denver. And so I'm going to leave the map up here. Look, I'm going to let you look at the map for a few seconds. Try to think, how is Denver different? How does the land look different than the Steamboat Springs? Because Denver is right here. So this is the mountains. All right. No, we're not talking about it yet. Just try to look at the map.
Okay, can I just come out and say something? I already know all about Denver.
How is Denver different? Turn and talk to your partner. How is Denver different?
Way more. There's I know. You don't know it.
So we can start by saying Denver is different because.
I know.
Oh, I see the same hands up. So let's.
Okay, I have a question.
Denver is different because Esme.
There's not much dark green as Colorado, and there's more flat ground.
There's not as much dark green as Steamboat Springs because they're both in Colorado. And so what do you think that means that it's not as dark green? There's not many mountains. What's another observation about that we noticed? How is it different, Mary?
Are you going to call me?
There's more lines. What do you think the lines mean? Oh, so do you think there's more roads in Denver? All right, so we just decided, Denver, we just saw how Denver is different. When we come up with our interview questions, when we're interviewing the first grade class in Denver, we have to ask them questions about what their life is like in Denver. Because do you think, since there's not as many mountains, raise your hand if you think it's good. What they do after school, what they do on the weekends is going to be a little bit different than what we do on the weekends. Raise your hand. I'm going to ask the question again. Because I asked the question and I don't think that many people are engaged. So I'm going to ask the question engaged.
Because I already know all about it.
I'm picking on those who are quietly raising their hands. When you're quietly raising your hand, I'm going to pick on you. Raise your hand if you think that the kids in Denver do the exact same things that we do in Steamboat Springs. Raise your hand if they might do some of the similar things, but they might do things a little bit differently than what we do. Oh, so I see that a lot of us think that we might have some similarities but differences. So when we're doing writing rotations today, we're going to come up with some questions to ask them about what they do. It could be what they do after school, what they do on the weekends, and we'll try to figure out. We're going to fill in this Venn diagram. We're going to fill in this Venn diagram, and Kinsley was telling me earlier that she knows how we fill in this Venn diagram. And we're going to compare Steamboat Springs with Denver. So we're going to say the one in the middle, when they cross over, that's what we're going to put with how they're the same. That's good, Dylan. You could have called your hand, and I would have raised your hand, and I would have called on you. And then we're going to say what's different about Steamboat and what's the same about Steamboat and Denver. All right, do we have any questions? Ryan.
Some people here lived in Denver before they came up here.
Some people have lived in Denver, so do you think we could interview them and ask them what life was like in Denver? And I know Dylan was one of those people that lived in Denver, so you'll be able to provide us with some good information. Right then, Dylan?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yes, Cooper.
there's like museum in it.